everyone, and welcome to Girls in Science Live. We are so excited to have you with us today. Thanks for joining us. We'll get our program started in just a minute, but right now we are so happy to have our mentors, Stacey and Sanapha, with us. Write in the chat, what do you think you would like to be when you grow up? And while you're in this audience today, you're going to be able to see us, but we won't be able to see or hear you. So you can always type what you want to say to us in the chat, and that's a way that you can communicate with us. We'll be sure to be checking the chat a whole lot. Right now, please type in the chat, what would you like to be when you grow up? Oh, we have Laura who wants to be a pilot. And we have Emily who would like to be a veterinarian. So welcome everyone to our program today. I'm so excited to have you with us. We have some people who don't know that is A-okay. I'm here with Stacey and also with Sanapha, and we will get started in just a second. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. I am so happy to have you all here with us. Like I said before, my name is Tessa, and I'm here with Stacey and also with Sanapha. Stacey is from Xcel Energy, and Sanapha is from the Bank of America. I'm working real hard right now. I'm hoping to get someone interpreting in American Sign Language for us on the screen. If you would like to have someone interpret for you in Spanish, you can go ahead and click the interpret button, and then your language will appear to you in Spanish, and I will work on getting our ASL situated. But for the moment, Stacey, how are you doing this evening?
Well, hello. I'm doing great. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I love seeing all of the future jobs that you're going to have. This is so exciting. Thanks for joining.
We are so happy to have you here with us today, and we'll get this show on the road. So Stacey Sims works at Xcel Energy as the Senior Portfolio Manager in EV Fleet Strategies. Stacey, that has something to do with electric vehicles, right?
Right, exactly. So EV is electric vehicles, and I have the cool job of working with our customers who own businesses or school districts who want to use electric vehicles in their businesses, in their day-to-day operations. So I get to work with big trucks and cars and people, and I have a really cool job.
Wow, that sounds absolutely incredible. And for those of you in the chat, I know that you can't see what other people are typing, but they're typing, and we are so excited to read all of your answers. So for our first question that we want to ask you guys in the chat is, Stacey here works in electric vehicles. If you could imagine any kind of electric vehicle, what kind of electric vehicle would you imagine? What would you want that electric vehicle to be? Go ahead and write it in the chat.
A limo, that's fun, yeah. Minivans, a Tesla hoverboard. Fun, keep them coming in. Teslas, an airplane, Jeeps, minivans, Mustangs. There is an EV Mustang out right now. Blue Ford car. God, it's coming in so fast. Thank you guys for a flying car. That's awesome. Thank you guys for putting this in there. Motorcycle, limo, Toyota, Honda, jet. You know what? A lot of what you're all imagining here are happening right now. Ice cream truck. How fun would that be? A lot of what you're talking about and what you would like to see, a pink car with wings. Yep, spaceship. A lot of things that you are talking about now are available. We have so many cars on the road that are electric vehicles. And there are a lot of cars, though, that we're going to have to see in the future what they look like. Maybe they're limos and maybe they're pink flying mobiles. The future when it comes to cars is it's wide open. There's going to be so many new technologies and so many new things that hopefully, if you want to, you guys can work on.
Well, how about right now, Stacey? I know when a lot of people think about electric vehicles, they have one image in their mind. Is that the only kind of electric vehicle that there is, or are there a whole lot?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there are all kinds of electric vehicles out on the road right now. So a lot of what you are putting in the chat, the Hondas, the Teslas, the Toyotas, those are to get people, families around to school, to grocery stores, to your favorite places. But there are plenty of electric vehicles that are big and for business. So if you live in Denver, or if you've been down in downtown for RTD, on the 16th Street Mall, every single bus that runs on that 16th Street Mall is an electric vehicle. It runs only on electricity. And if you didn't know about electric vehicles, you might not know it's there. But we see all kinds of electric vehicles on the road now, and there's more to come.
That sounds incredible. So I know you work with electric vehicles, but what's your day-to-day? What does your day at work look like?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think the best thing about my job, and especially working for a company like Xcel Energy, is I get to do all kinds of cool stuff every day. So some days I'm talking to engineers, and we're talking about how we can help our customers put the right kind of chargers into their business. Some days I'm talking to business owners. Other days I'm talking to the people who manufacture cars. Sometimes I'm talking even to elected officials to help them figure out policies and different ways to approach getting more vehicles on the road. Every day is different. Every day is exciting. And I think this is a really cool space to work.
That sounds like a lot of fun. And also like you have a lot of big responsibility on your shoulders. I'm just noticing Michaela and Alexa in the chat are asking, are there a lot of girls working in engineering?
Yeah. Michaela, I think it was Michaela, right? That's a great question. And I see other people asking that as well. So every year we're seeing more and more girls entering into engineering. I'll tell you, when I got started in energy 20 some years ago, that wasn't the case. It wasn't the case. We are seeing more girls in STEAM, engineering, math, all of the different careers that make up STEAM, and seeing you guys here is great. I would say more and more girls, more and more women are going into engineering. There aren't a lot of women who do what I do, working with electric vehicles. We need more. So if you like cars, if you like trucks, if you have any kind of interest in vehicles, the electric vehicle space is a great place for you. We need more smart girls working on electric vehicles.
That's amazing. So did you always want to work in energy? I noticed some people in our chat are so young and they're already doing STEM at school.
Yeah.
Was that you? Did you always imagine working on electric vehicles?
No, it's amazing how I just kind of had the opportunity to do this. I've always loved science. I always loved learning. I'm a lifelong learner, as you guys can imagine. When you love science, you always want to continue to understand more and more about it. But when I got started in energy, it wasn't with electric vehicles. I remember seeing seeing some of the initial cars that were electric vehicles and just thinking, wow, those are so interesting and they're so futuristic. And now I get to work with them. It's pretty neat.
That's incredible. So I feel like I've learned a little bit more about electric cars just in the last couple of seconds. So I'm going to launch a poll and let's see how much our audience knows about electric vehicles. So there we go. In the chat, I've posted a poll. It says, which of these vehicles do you think run on electricity? Is it a battery electric vehicle, a plug-in hybrid vehicle, or a gas-powered vehicle? Woo! And I see this poll is taking off right away. We already have, oh my goodness, it's hard to tell what's in the lead, this battery electric vehicle or a plug-in hybrid vehicle. Which one is it, Stacey? Which one of those?
It's actually both. So a battery electric vehicle runs only on electricity. has a battery pack, and that's all it runs on. A plug-in hybrid vehicle has both electricity and gas. So you could have said battery electric or plug-in, and you would have been right.
Wow, that's absolutely incredible. So now I've heard all about what you do at work, but what do you do in your free time? What do you do to relax?
Yeah, well, a lot of my free time is spent with my twins, 5-year-old twins, Edie and Isaac. I don't know if you guys are on, but hi, guys. So my kids are absolutely my fun time. So my daughter Edie loves art. She loves to draw. She loves kind of all the things that have to do with creating. My son loves to perform. He's kind of an artist in his own way, loves to build Legos. I also spend a lot of time with my dog Luna. So if you get a chance to go to my the Clubhouse, you'll see Luna's in my little office. We spend a lot of time together. We love to be outside and just play, do arts and crafts stuff. It's always a lot of fun.
That sounds amazing. How about sports? We were talking earlier, and it sounded like you did some sports maybe in college.
Yeah. I think we had a nice conversation about basketball. Yeah, I played basketball in college. It was one of those things where I really loved it, and it gave me a chance to, follow my passion, follow my interest. Also helped me pay for school. It continues to be something that I love to watch on TV, teach my kids to play when I have spare time to go do myself.
That's amazing. I love to hear all about that. We have so many people in the chat who are asking questions about electric cars. Why are electric cars important?
That was such a great question. Thanks for asking. I forget who posted it up there. So electric cars are important now and also for the future, because when we think about moving towards a carbon-free world where we have less emissions, we have less carbon in the air, the biggest way that we can now do that is by replacing vehicles that run on gas, especially those big vehicles, with electric vehicles. Electric vehicles, especially when they're charged on Xcel Energy's grid overnight, are charged up essentially by renewable energy, by wind and solar. So by using more electric vehicles, we're actually using more of a lower emitting fuel.
That's incredible. And if you have any other questions, please let us know in the chat. I see somebody talking about their puppy. You don't happen to have any dogs, do you, Stacey?
I do. I have a dog. Her name is Onyx, and I got her during COVID, and she is awesome. She's Onyx, which for you out there, anyone's interested in stones and gems, Onyx is a pure black, really, really hard gemstone. And that's what my puppy's so sweet, but she's really, really black, and she likes to play really hard.
That sounds amazing. We have an excellent question from Laura in the chat. She's wondering, is it going to be possible to have solar powered cars, kind of like we have solar power for our houses?
It was really funny getting ready for this. I was just thinking like how that would be. I would hope someone thinks about that and asks about that. And I hope if you're interested in it, maybe you'll be the one to engineer it and design it. I do think there's going to be a future where we have solar panels on top of our cars. Whereas we drive around, we are charging our batteries with the sun, and we are recharging the batteries with our brakes. So whoever said that, if you're interested in vehicles, if you're interested in solar, I hope that maybe you're the one who's out designing that car in the future.
We also have another creative solution to our energy problem from Amelia, who says, has there been any talk of making electric producing streets? So when we walk on the streets, our bodies are able to produce energy?
That's really cool. I haven't heard that. So if that's your idea, work to get a patent. So it's your idea, and you can build it and you can make it. If that happens, that would be incredible. We are looking at all kinds of different ways to make energy, electricity. As you know, there's various forms of energy that's out in the world, and if we can capture it and harness it and use it, as a renewable resource, I think that's better for us all. So whoever had that idea, great idea.
And to some of you in the chat who are asking questions about multiple names, yes, there are multiple Lauras in the chat. So if that wasn't your question, please forgive me. It was from someone else. Someone in the chat was asking a question that I feel like you touched on earlier. They said,
sure.
Are there gas stations for electric vehicles?
Great question. Yeah, how do we charge up these vehicles? So when we think of gas stations, right? Those are usually sell gas. We have charging stations that are out on the road now, tens of thousands of charging stations, where if you have an electric car, you pull in, you have it kind of looks like just a plug that you would use to plug in your appliances, and you literally take the cord out of your, off the charger, and you plug it right into your car. And depending how much battery you need, you can charge up in just half hour, 45 minutes or less. And if you need more and it's a slower charger, then it might take a little bit longer. So the way that you charge, the speed of it will determine how much goes into your battery.
I'm also noticing a little bit of nervousness in the chat. There's some folks asking, when is gas going to run out? Or how can electric vehicles help with global climate change?
Yeah, those are two good questions. So when we talk about global climate change, what I was mentioning before about having a transportation sector that is less carbon intensive is vital. It's most people believe now it's the biggest area where we need to be reducing emissions. It used to be in the field that I work with, utilities, and now it's in the transportation side. And by using renewable energy, if you charge a vehicle at night on a grid that has renewable energy, and it's a battery electric vehicle, you're essentially, you're not polluting. On average, if you have a gasoline vehicle, you're releasing about 5 tons of greenhouse gas emissions a year. With a battery electric vehicle that's charged with a grid that has a lot of renewable energy on it, it's 0.
Wow, so that's a pretty big difference right there. It seems like you're doing some pretty important work, isn't it?
It's a lot of fun, yeah, and it's really important. And I do it for, my kids, for you girls that are out there and your families, because when we think about a world that we want to have, not just now but in the future, we need a lot of people working in this space.
So what are your favorite kinds of electric vehicles that are already out on the market today?
Great question. I like the vehicles that really are available to a lot of people. And for me, I mentioned it before, electric buses. I think electric buses are just so neat because you get so many people in a bus at once. They're efficient. Public transport, when you get more people using buses, that's less cars on the road. Less cars on the road mean less pollutants, less congestion, quieter streets. So my favorite vehicle is definitely electric bus. And they're cool, they're big.
So we have someone who's asking, how old were you when you knew that this is what you wanted to do? And were there things that you thought that you wanted to do before you wanted to go into electric vehicles?
Yeah, great question. So how old was I? Gosh, I gotta have to tell you how old I am now then, right? So I would say I was, wow, that's a really good question. Probably in my early 30s. The one thing that's great about working in energy, engineering, math, science, technology, is that careers are always changing. I never thought that my job would exist when I graduated college. I had no idea that I would be working in this space. But if you work hard, you study, you learn, you have a solid foundation in and learning in science, new careers are popping up all the time, and you just might find yourself doing it. Before before I got into electric vehicles, I was just working in energy, in solar, and in energy efficiency. So I never thought it would be about cars.
Wow. So when we asked at the very, very, very beginning of this program what people wanted to be, there were a couple of people who said that they didn't know. Do you think that's okay, or is that kind of scary?
You know, I think it's okay, and it's kind of scary. I think it's okay that you don't quite know yet. And I think that's a real opportunity to just keep an open mind. Keep an eye on what is of interest to you, what you're passionate about. And if you want to learn it, you want to learn about it, go for it. There are plenty of jobs out there where we just don't have enough people doing it. I think STEM is a big piece, and girls in STEM, and women working in STEM. It's okay. Keep an open mind, explore. I actually thought that I was going to study medicine when I went to college, and I would never have thought that I would end up in this space. So it's okay. It's okay, and it can be scary, but follow your interests, follow your passions, keep learning. You'll find your career.
Wow. I think that that's incredibly powerful, and I hope that we all reflect on that regardless of our ages. I'm not sure if you have much of a base in this, but do you know anything about the history of electric vehicles?
Ooh, so I can say that electric vehicles were actually the first vehicles on the road, and they were replaced by liquid fuel vehicles. If you have a chance, check out my video that I think there's a link in it. I know there's a link on the website, and it might be in my Clubhouse as well. I actually show, I'm sitting on a 1919 Model T electric vehicle that was used in Colorado to go fix power lines. So if you think about it, electric vehicles are actually very, very old. Well, in car years, they're pretty old. And it's just now getting back to the concept of electric vehicles probably within the last 20 years. So they're pretty old.
That is absolutely incredible. And somebody's also asking, okay, so it's possible to run out of gas, right? Will we have enough electricity if everybody switches from gas to electricity?
What a great question. Wow, we definitely have scientists and engineers here. Great question. Yes. So it is really important that as we're starting to see more and more electric vehicles come on the road, that we understand and we can plan for how they'll impact the energy grid, right? How they'll impact infrastructure. The thing that we're doing, and we're working really hard at Xcel Energy, is making sure that as we're seeing the demand for electricity increase, that we are producing more renewable energy to meet those demands. So more wind, more solar, and really thinking about how we can use energy in a smarter way. So we won't run out of energy. We're going just to need to figure out how to keep generating it and generating at in the cleanest way possible.
Wow, and it sounds like you're kind of on the forefront of that, aren't you?
Yeah,
so
it's a lot of fun.
If there's something that you would like to leave our audience with today, what do you think that you would like to tell the people in our audience?
Yeah, first of all, thank you all for joining. It's just so, for me, it's inspiring. I heard that there were well over 1,800 girls who are already registered. Who knows how many are actually going to continue to join on. For me, it's inspiring. And what I would recommend to you all too is, follow your inspirations. It's okay if you're entering into jobs where you don't see a lot of women. You might be the first. You won't be the last. There are just so many opportunities are out there, and just keep staying true to your interests and yourself, working hard, and you'll find your career.
Well, thank you so much. That was really inspirational, and I think that we all learned a whole lot. So I am going to invite our next mentor, Sanapha Cortez, to join us. Welcome, Sanapha. So Sanapha is the manager of DTC Financial Center at Bank of America. And I am just going to ask you to turn on your video.
Let's see. So it's on. Oh, there it is.
Are.
Gotta love technology.
So
Perfect.
Thank you so much for joining us. And for those of you in the chat who are asking when it's time to use your boxes, those boxes are for you. So there's a lot of guidance from our wonderful mentors, but you can do those with your family. So Sanapha, at Bank of America, it sounds like you probably help people with their money. Am I on the right track here?
You know, that can be true. So each and every day I actually get the opportunity to assist our clients with either figuring out what they want to save for, whether it's that Disneyland trip or planning for retirement, to helping them to figure out what we can do to help them build and work on their budget. So all sorts of money-focused conversations, financial conversations.
Financial conversations are important conversations to have. And let's start having some of those conversations with our audience members. So I'm not going to make a poll for this one, but I am going to ask you to type in the chat, if you got $50 for your birthday, would you rather invest it? Would you rather donate it to charity? Or would you rather spend it? So let me know in the comments, which of those would you do with your $50? Oh my goodness, we have people saying, invest it, donate it, spend it, spend it, spend it, spend it, spend it, donate it, save it.
Aw. Very nice.
Oh, we have someone who says that they would spend it on books.
Ooh, there we go. And then someone said they wouldn't spend it. I like it. There we go. Yep. Aw. Got some really varied answers over here. Very nice.
Well, how about you? What would you do with your $50?
You know, I love shoes. I'm just joking. You know, honestly, I think especially now in having 3 kids, and what I tell my kids all the time is I think investing would definitely be the best option, because then it could grow, and then from there be able to, you can then use it for all 3, as many had answered, and so being able to invest it and see that return come back is where definitely what I would do. So I like the no spend there, Katie.
Yeah, and some folks are going to keep it for college and scholarships, which brings me, when we were chatting the other day, you started talking a little bit about your background, which sounded really interesting, and how your interest in math and banking came from a whole bunch of different places. Would you tell us a little bit about your background and how it brought you to who you are today?
Well, thank you. You know, it's all started with one dream. I'm just joking. But no, I absolutely just love numbers. I love figuring out ratios. I love being able to really, with numbers, figure out how I can assist, you know, clients and different individuals. And banking, I think, is the best of both worlds. And so I shared with you, I was born in Thailand and came to the United States with a refugee camp. And I think one of the things that I wanted to do since I was younger was being able to give back and help. And in my current role, I'm able to give back and help, but I also get to play with numbers, and then also just figure out ways that we can help our clients get to where they want to get to as far as their financial goals. So with each and every connection. That
sounds amazing. So it sounds like you went through some really positive times, but then also sometimes that might have been kind of difficult for you. How did you kind of keep yourself on top of all of that and feeling good?
You know, I think for me, one of the biggest things, and I had shared this, I thrive in just seeing my parents be able to do what they needed to do as far as being able to, wanting to provide us a better life. I think that was just beyond amazing. And then also just knowing that anything was possible if I set my mind to it. I think those were two of the key things that definitely kept me going through those times, and understanding that those times are very temporary. Although it may seem like, we've all heard the saying, when it rains, it pours, but it's always after those moments that we figure out the why behind those moments, and how we surprise ourselves at times how strong we truly are when we're able to persevere through those moments. So.
And what are some things either in your past or in your present that just make you feel good about yourself?
I think it's seeing the smile on my children's face. And as of right now, being able to see and how much we're able to impact, whether it's that one individual we helped get into their first home, or another one of our amazing clients that we were able to help really reduce their debt so they didn't have to worry about that at night. So I mean, it's how we can positively impact them. So that's when I feel good, is knowing that I'm making a positive impact in the world. So.
And for those of you in the chat, we do hear you. We can't respond to everybody all at once, but we do hear you, and we're getting your chats. So you started to talk a little bit about what your favorite parts of your job are. What does your job look like? What do you do day to day?
Oh my goodness. On a day-to-day, I get to meet all of our amazing clients. And so when I come in, I start my morning day with a business brief. I usually do an icebreaker with the team. And then throughout the day, no day looks the same. So I could be helping a client with getting into their, like I said, wanting to purchase their first home, or, looking to refinance their current car loan to get a lower rate. And then in between, being able to coach and develop my current associates here. And it's just phenomenal. So
that is phenomenal. And it sounds like your job makes you feel really good about yourself. So now let's turn it on our audience. Audience, what is it that makes you feel really good about yourself? Go ahead and type it in the chat. I know that I feel really good about myself, and I think that I relate to other folks in this when I'm in the middle of a really good book. Though I noticed that Lori says that her hair makes her feel really good about herself, and Stacey, our other panelist from Xcel, says that it's when she's able to help people. Other people love it when they experience a compliment, or when they get to play outside with their family. We have a lot of folks in the chat here who are math lovers and feel good when they solve a math problem, or when they can help their friends solve a math problem. Lots of animal lovers who love when they can pet their dogs and their cats and spend time with animals, or when people can cheer someone up and make them feel good about themselves.
Aww. These are some amazing answers. I love the hard math problems. We have some math lovers in here. I love it. That is amazing. Aw, family and friends. Very nice. Aw, we have a lot of givers. This is amazing. Aw, and helping others. I am right there with you guys, 110%. Very cool.
And I remember earlier you said something, it was at the very beginning, about how you would invest, because if you invested, you would be able to help others in the future. Is that something that you see as a core value for you?
Definitely. I don't think I'd be where I am without other amazing people, my tribe, from mentors to friends to family, that have helped me along the way. And so I think it's only fit for me to be able to give back and help others the way that they've helped me along the way. So that is definitely one of my core values.
And Abigail brings up a very important question. What does investing mean?
Oh my goodness. So there are so many ways to invest. I'll give a quick one. Parents right now, I'm sure, are planning for your college. And so right now they are investing in a 529 plan to be able to save for your college education. And so that's one way you're able to invest. I'm sure you've heard of the stock market, and then also in different movies, but those are just a couple of different ways you're able to invest.
All right, so it's when you put your money towards something that might not happen now, but could happen in the future?
Exactly. Yep. And so it really depends on, I'm trying to, so for example, with GameStop, so when you're purchasing and where there's a lot of people purchasing, it can increase the value of a certain stock. And so that's a type. So you could put your money in and you're hoping for a return, but you never know. It's almost like, I don't want to say a gamble, but you're investing the potential to get the yield back. So
Understood. We have some people in the chat who say that they feel really good when they play sports. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
I don't know. I mean, I do love a little basketball. I know growing up, that was one of the biggest things I loved to play. I don't know if we have any Laker fans out there. I know we're in Colorado, but I grew up in Huntington Beach. But I absolutely love basketball. I used to play it from before the sun came up to beyond after the sun came down. So love basketball.
Well, it looks like you are not alone. Betty, I think, is a fan alongside you. And please let us know what questions you have for Sanapha in the chat. We have about 7 minutes left, so let us know what you would like to hear. So it sounds like you have a lot of fun at work and you have a lot of good times at work, but outside of work, what do you like to do for fun?
You know, interestingly enough, before I was a bank manager, I really wanted to be a police officer. I absolutely love criminal justice. And so I, on my free time currently, binge watch any investigation discovery shows. I don't know if anyone's heard of Lieutenant Joe Penda, one of my favorite shows. And so right alongside him, as I'm imagining, I'm solving murders, or I'm trying to figure out who did it. And so all sorts of different things. And then also just hanging out with my kiddos. I have 3 kids. I have my daughter, Kailani, who's 13, my son, Caleb, who's 12, and then my youngest son, Caden, who's 5. And then we love to go hiking with our pit bull, Carlos, as well. So really just spent between binge watching TV, hiking, getting out, hanging out with the family. So trying not to eat too much during those times as well. So.
And now we've heard from Stacey and now also from you that the career that you're in now isn't necessarily what you always thought that you would do. How did you come to banking and bank management?
You know, interestingly enough, it just happened to be that this great opportunity opened up for me to be able to help clients and have those conversations. And really that's what one of my previous leaders and now great friend shared with me, is we have the ability to, through each and every connection, make that positive impact. And so we get to learn about the 3 Ps. Shout out to June Hammond if you're watching. But it's pain, trying to figure out what keeps them up at night, their passion. What are you passionate about, to their purpose, and what are they able to give back, or what can you help them identify? So before this, I've done every job possible, I'm sure, from waitressing to retail. And so the one thing I will share is I don't think you have that one career, and that's okay. Being able to go with the flow and explore those opportunities and finding what makes you happy and what makes you tick. I think that's what truly has led me here, and why I love what I do day in and day out. So
that sounds absolutely wonderful. And for those of you in the chat concerned that you haven't received your boxes yet, don't worry, you'll get them. And the activities in the box are self-directed and you'll be able to do them with your family. We have some folks who are wondering about the difference between an investment firm and a bank, because their dad works at an investment firm and they just want to know the difference.
You know, interestingly enough, so in banking, you still have that investment segment, but with the investment firm, it focuses solely on investing. Whereas banking, we're also able to offer banking products such as a checking account, a savings account, and the checking accounts will have that debit card attached to it where you can utilize it, and then we are able to offer credit cards. So it's just something similar in the financial industry, but where the investment firm is structured solely for investments. So.
And do you work
Great.
with a lot of women, or do you feel like this is a more of a male dominated profession?
You know, I think it's changing. My previous team that I led was all women previously at one of my previous branches. And I will say one of the previous institutions I used to work for too, the CEO was Beth Mooney. And so I think we are definitely making strides, but there's definitely some more room we can have, right? And that's where you guys all come in, where you're able to go and break those glass ceilings. So,
yeah. And what would you say to all of the young people in our chat who, you know, maybe don't know what they want to do, but have now met a banker and know that it involves math and a whole lot of fun? What would you say to these young folks?
I would say explore each and every opportunity that you have. And it's okay if it doesn't turn out, or if it's not turning out the way you want it to go, because there's going to be something so much better on the other side. And so I will say, just hang in there and have fun going through and getting to try all that's out there. And especially when it comes to careers or anything in life. So it's going to be amazing.
Well, I'm going to bring back Stacey just real quick so that we can give both of you an incredible thank you. Sanapha, thank you so much for sharing your story. And Stacey, thank you so much for sharing your story. In the chat, we have posted all of the information that you would need so you can recreate the kits. So go ahead and click on that link if you need access to the kits. Stacey has hers right there. It is going to be so much fun. So a shout out to both of our amazing mentors and a shout out to our incredible translators. Thank you so much for providing accessibility throughout this program. So I'm going to put on our end titles. Thank you all so much for coming. And there will be more Girls in Science activities throughout the entire month of March. So please, please, please make sure to look for those. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thank you all.